Back listeners, I'm Robin Black, and this is It's All About Healing podcast. Today, I have a special guest with us today, Geoff Knoll, and he's going to speak with us about his story and his journey with dissatisfied accomplishments. Geoff, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I really appreciate you having me come on. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. I loved speaking with others and connecting with others about their adversities and how they overcame those adversities. So I'm very excited to hear how you overcame yours. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, my story really started to get interesting whenever it started to go south. So I am 39 years old. I started most of my life, I felt like I was really not that good at anything, mediocre at best, kind of have done all kinds of things and just been okay. And a few years ago, 2021 in November, I got really sick. I was at home. My wife is like, babe, you need to go to the doctor. I've got all of this like pooling blood underneath my skin. My gums are bleeding. I've got coagulated blood that I'm having to rinse out of my mouth every half hour or so, picking out all these clots of blood in my teeth. And I knew that wasn't normal, but I am a real estate agent and being self-employed, I didn't have health insurance. And I'm also a guy. Guys are notoriously bad about not going to the doctor whenever we have a need, we'll be fine. You just write it out, maybe take some medicine, you'll be fine. So I write it out for about a week before my wife talks me into going. I go to a nurse practitioner in the neighboring town, and I wasn't scared until I walked in there, and she looks at me and she looks visibly scared.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, should I be worried?" And And she said, "No, let's wait until we get the tests back." But she's like, "This isn't great, but don't freak out. We'll see what the test before we make any assumptions." So I go to the bathroom. I remember going into the bathroom in that clinic and looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, "Oh my goodness, I look like warmed over death." It was I felt like I had been run over by a train. I look bad. I'm like, okay, no wonder she is freaking out. And I'm a little bit shaky at this point. I'm a little scared. I get a call about a half an hour later from this doctor saying, "Geoff, you need to go to the emergency room. They're going to give you some platelets." My platelet count, which is supposed to be between 250,000 and 400,000 is that normal range, was less than 1,000. So they say that's pretty much none. You have no platelets. If you were to get a cut right now, you would bleed out. That's what clots your blood.
Right.
So my wife takes me to the emergency room. They pump some platelets in me and they're like, "Oh, we're going to transfer you to this other hospital by ambulance." And I know that I don't have insurance, and I know that an ambulance ride is going to be a lot, especially considering it was like an hour and a half drive. I was like, "No, I'm not riding in an ambulance. My wife can take me to the other hospital. We'll do that." So we go. They have the room ready, or we go to their emergency, and then they end up moving me from emergency room to the oncology floor. And at this point, I still don't even know what's going on. I'm looking around and just realized from one of the things in my room that it says oncology. And I'm like, is this the only room that's available? Why am I here? Why am I here? And I come to find out the symptoms that I have are also symptoms that are associated with lymphoma or leukemia. And I start worrying. They haven't done the test for that yet, but I'm worrying. And I know that that's not going to do anything to help, I've read enough self-development books in my life to know that nothing positive comes from a negative mindset. So I'm doing everything that I can not to think about this, but they still had COVID restrictions in this hospital. I have a 12-year-old son that from the time we went to the emergency room wasn't allowed to go back he didn't see me again from that time. And I know he's worried because Dad looked like he was about dead, and now he can't see him.
Right.
And so I'm worrying about him. I'm worrying about all of the things that are going on. My wife is at home taking care of him between coming to take, spend some time with me and working. And so I spent 4 days there, and I had a whole lot of time in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, I was thinking about all of the possibilities of what if I have lymphoma? What if I have leukemia?
Yeah.
What if we're really late into this, and because I don't go to the doctor regular and I don't get checkups, what if I'm catching this at the tail end and I just have a couple weeks? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all of the things, the plans that I've talked about with my son
Mm-hmm.
and my wife and my family of, I've always been a dreamer. I've always, had a vision for something bigger than what I have, but I've never really accomplished anything all that great. And I say that I'm so blessed. I have an incredible family. I have so much to be grateful for and thankful for in my life. But all of these things that I've talked about that I want to accomplish never really come to fruition. Nothing ever really comes of it. And I'm thinking, man, I've just been all talk my whole life.
Yeah.
And it killed me. It killed me thinking about that. It also killed me thinking that my son is 12 years old at this point. And I feel like as a parent, the most important thing that you can do is teach your children how to be successful in life, not just how to survive and how to make it. I feel like if you're doing your job as a parent, you are teaching your kids how to thrive.
Yeah.
And really become the best version of who they are.
Yes.
And if I'm not doing that myself, I can't do that. And so I was just terrified, honestly. I was worried, and I'm definitely getting deep into prayer and background on me. My dad was a preacher. I grew up in church. I was always there. After I moved out of the house, I really quit with all of that. And it's not that I quit believing, but I just did things differently.
Right.
I grew up believing things a certain way because I was told that that's how you're supposed to believe it. This is the truth, and everything else is not.
Right.
And so, I was kind of going through life trying to figure out what do I believe? What do I actually believe myself? So, I'm sorry, I'm having a moment just thinking here, but I'm concerned with all of these things. But whenever I get out, they did their tests. I didn't have lymphoma or leukemia, and I was, so grateful, thankful for that. But I am at this point, I'm about 285 pounds. I was 300 pounds a few months before that, and I had lost some weight, kind of unexplained. I wasn't really doing anything to lose weight. So I didn't know what was going on with that, but I decided my weight may have had nothing to do with that specific health issue that I had. But I knew that it was going to cause issues later in life. Both my parents had type 2 diabetes. My dad's got high blood pressure, cholesterol issues. And I don't, if I can avoid some of these things so I can be here longer to not have to be laying on what's potentially my deathbed thinking about, I don't want to be in that same spot again on something that I can avoid myself. So I'm like, I'm going to change these things. Also, they put me on prednisone, which was spiking my blood sugar. So I on my own just changed my diet. I I cut out all of the carbs and sugars and stuff to try to control my blood sugar because they were just wanting to give me insulin. I said,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take more drugs. I want to do, if anything I can control without medication, I want to do that. So
Right.
I ended up between that, the diet change, and when I got home, and as soon as I felt like I was able to do anything, I started doing some at-home exercises. Just got on YouTube
Yeah.
and looked up beginner-friendly, low impact workouts. They were all standing. The videos were Body Project. If you look them up, they've got tons and tons of videos, but they were great. And I started doing them every morning. And as I did that for a couple weeks, I noticed I'm starting to get more energy and I'm starting to feel a little bit better and I'm losing a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
And the better you feel, you're like, man, I could be doing more. I can do more than this. And so, I amped it up a little bit, and I'm starting to zero in on different types of diet, exercise routines. And with that, I'm like, okay, well, what can I be learning that is going to change my life in a way that this exercise and diet is? So I want to be focusing on bettering my mind as well. So I start reading books, and trying to find association. And every book I read is a self-development in some way. I'm in real estate. I read some real estate books as well, but my passion has really become self-development, self-improvement, because you can become whatever you want to be. Whatever it is that you desire, you can create that in your life. And I think a lot of people get hung up on that. They're like, the people that are screaming the loudest this message, generally they have a jet and they're like posing by their Lamborghini, and that doesn't resonate with me at all.
Right.
That's not who I am. I don't care to have that stuff. And not to say I don't like nice things. I do. I like nice things.
Yeah.
But I know how much it makes me feel good to help somebody else.
Absolutely.
So, if I can become the best version of myself that is able to help other people and really create success in others and see things in other people that they may not even see themselves, that's really what I see as being successful.
Absolutely.
So, I go out and I look for opportunities. I'm looking at people. I'm like, hey, I want to build people up around me. This has been something that I noticed my grandparents, who they were preachers when I was a kid. They weren't Christians growing up, but as adults, when my mom was a kid, they got saved, and they were really good about this. They were always good about building people up, and I always loved that about them. They could make anybody feel special. We'd go to a restaurant, the waitress. If my grandpa was in the hospital, it would be the nurses coming in, the doctor. Everybody would just, you would feel special when you're around them. My mom was the same way with kids, and I want to be like that. I want to be so, have that charisma that they do. And I always wondered how you do that. And I've studied communication a lot. But really the root of it, I think, is you just have to love people. You have to care about people. But, all of these things, I got into a mastermind group also, and you're reading about, you'll be like the 5 people that you surround yourself the most, you spend the most time with. I'm like, man, I'm looking around at my friend group, and it's a hard thing to do, to separate from people, because you love people. These are your friends because they've been your friends. But if they're not accomplishing anything and they're not driven in any way, it's really hard to make that distinction. But I'm looking around, I'm like, man, it's true. You are my bank account probably resembles their bank account.
Right.
I'm in the same mindset because I'm hearing the negativity that is coming from them.
Yeah.
So I found a group of people that are accomplishing things, and they're trying, and they're all just people.
Yes.
It's nothing. They're not all billionaire businessmen. That's not what it is. They're just trying to become the best version of themselves. So I got involved in that, and I start taking away all of these ideas, which it does. It gave me ideas that have rolled over into my business, have made me lots of financial success,
Yeah.
but really more than that, it's you gain happiness from making connections with people. At
Yes.
least I do. I know some
Yeah.
people lean on the crutch that they are an introvert,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying anything negative to that. I think there's plenty of successful introverts,
Yeah.
but I think that everybody, introvert or extrovert, we gain value from people in community.
Yes.
And I always encourage people whenever they say, "Oh, I don't want to go out in a group of people. I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable."
Hmm.
We don't grow when we're comfortable. You have
Right.
to put
You're
yourself
right.
in that situation where you are outside of your comfort zone, where you are in fertile ground to grow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I've just been rambling and rambling and rambling. What are your thoughts, Robin?
No, I enjoyed just hearing you speak about everything. And you, like you said, we don't grow where we're comfortable. I like that a lot. But I want to know why. So first of all, like, how did all of that turn out when you were in the hospital?
So the diagnosis was called ITP.
Hmm.
I don't even know what that stands for. If you Google it, it'll tell you. And it was really inconclusive as to what caused it. I did read an article saying that if you had ever had COVID or if you had the COVID vaccine, that there was some like links to cases of that. But I haven't had any issues with it since. I did go on to prednisone, pretty high dosage, like 100 milligrams a day and it stepped down, but I was on prednisone for about 4 months, which is a really long time to be on and a high dosage. And I was worried about that because a lot of people have side effects of their face swells up, they'll gain a bunch of weight.
Hmm.
Um, there's a number of negative side effects that a lot of people get. And fortunately, I didn't have any of them. I
Yeah.
didn't have any of them. But fast forward, I'm doing all of these things that are positive behavior changes. I ended up losing, I got down to 202 pounds is the lightest. I'm right now 212 as of this morning. So
Uh-huh.
I fluctuate a little bit, but I stay right in this window of 205 to 215 is pretty normal.
That's
So,
good.
but yeah, and I have energy, which
Hmm.
is another key important thing for being able to perform at my highest level. Whenever you're going around and you're exhausted,
Yeah.
how do you expect to be giving people your best if you're pooped? You can't
Right.
do it. It takes energy. If you have big dreams and you have big goals, you're not going to get there sitting on your couch. You've got to
Right.
get up and you got to do something.
Yes.
So,
I agree with that.
that was a real key thing. And then our minds, we need specific nutrients for our minds to be firing on all cylinders. So
Hmm.
just notice, my diet before all of that, it was not uncommon to go to McDonald's
Hmm.
4 or 5 times a week and get,
Hmm.
a couple of, a double cheeseburger, a McChicken, and a soda
Yeah.
every day. That was not
Hmm.
uncommon. I'm in a rush. I'd use the excuse. So I'm in a hurry. I don't have time to stop and go in and do something, or it's more expensive or whatever.
Yeah.
But what is it actually costing you? I mean, that stuff has gotten, oh, it's increased in price. It's still cheaper to go do that than to go to a
Right.
regular restaurant, or to cooking at home is probably comparable even,
Yeah.
but what is it costing you?
Mm-hmm.
The food that is jam packed full of preservatives, and we had some cupcakes that came from a local big box bakery. They were in a pastry dish at my mother-in-law's house. She just threw them away last week, but they've been in there since last June. And they looked exactly like when they came home from the bakery. They
Oh,
were
wow.
they were hard as a baseball, but
Yeah.
they looked like that. And I was like, man, I could eat one of those 6-packs, just bring it home and eat it before I get home. Like that was not
Yeah.
a problem for me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even think twice about that. So it's just kind of eye-opening, but
Mm-hmm.
and you hear about a lot of people that have a similar thing. You have a near death or, car accident. Brendan Burchard had a car accident that almost killed him, and he calls it a mortality motivation.
Yeah.
You're motivated by the fact that you saw that you could be at the end,
Yeah.
and I went through that. All of that. I said I didn't have health insurance. I was terrified while I'm in the hospital also about the bill that I'm racking up. I have a life insurance policy, $500,000 life insurance that my wife will get if anything happens. And I'm looking around this hospital room and thinking, I'm just adding up. What is this going to cost me? Because you don't know what anything costs when you're actually in there. You don't know. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm assuming everything, and you hear of all these astronomical bills. It was an astronomical bill.
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
being said, they discounted it heavily because I was a cash customer, no insurance customer. I'm still paying on it, mind you, but I left with about a $40,000 bill
Yeah.
of stuff, and that's the discounts. So,
Yeah.
I can easily look back to 2021 and say the absolute best thing that happened to me was getting sick and going through that adversity, and being able to make that association is kind of powerful, because you can look back over your life. I have a previous divorce that just knocked me flat on my face.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt bad. My son's mother is from my first wife. And, I'm so grateful that I have that life experience, that I've been through all of these things, and I can see that God has carried me through them.
Yes.
I don't know what your faith is or what you believe, but I can 1,000% tell you that I'm not even scared when it comes to adversity. I don't love it. Nobody likes going through things that suck. I definitely don't. I had a conversation with my dad. He was down not that long ago, and my mom passed away in 2014, and we were talking about this very thing. And he said, I don't ever ask God to send me adversity, because it hurts and it's not fun. But when we go through it, when you realize that you're capable of a lot more than you thought you were, you are able to do and go places that you thought you'd never be able to go. It's powerful.
Yes, absolutely. And I 100% agree with that, because I believe that God, he guarantees pain. He guarantees adversity. But it's his love that gives you the strength and the endurance to reach limits that you never thought that you could ever even imagine that you'd be able to endure and get through it. And I think that's why certain adversities, and why I even started this podcast, to bring these connections together, because I believe that amplifies who God truly is, because I feel like he's not being amplified. We amplify the negativity in our lives more than we amplify him. So that's why I feel like this is definitely supposed to happen. And I wanted to know more about when you stated, before we started this podcast, you stated that you were dissatisfied with your accomplishments. What caused that? Why were you dissatisfied?
I was dissatisfied because, like I said, I never really felt like I was good at anything that I did. I was mediocre. I was middle of the road, but
Mhm.
nothing in my life that I'd ever done have I really stood out at. I got into real estate in 2019, and I doubled my income from the prior year of what I was doing, and that was really exciting and that was cool, but I wasn't even in the top 25, or I wasn't. It's not like I was the best at it.
Mhm.
It's not like I was, you know, the best. I was okay. You could do it.
Yeah.
Learning by taking my lumps and
Yeah.
making mistakes. But the more I put myself out there and put myself into positions where I get outside of my comfort zone and I grow,
Mhm.
I can see the bigger picture of what I'm supposed to be doing and who I
Mhm.
actually am.
Yeah.
But just being dissatisfied with not, you make goals and you don't hit them, it starts to hurt. But a lot of people, whenever they set goals and they get close, you get halfway through the year and you see that you're not halfway to your goal, they will pull back or they'll adjust their goal and make it less. Because I
Mhm.
want to hit that goal. I really
Yeah.
want to hit that goal. So I'm going to pull it back and make less. And what happens when you do that is you actually don't try as hard
Yeah.
because you've lowered your standard for what you expect out of yourself.
Mhm.
So we don't accomplish what our goals are. We accomplish our standards. Whatever standards you set for yourself or what you're going to create in your life.
Mhm.
So I was I was just dissatisfied with I was never hitting my goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great that I doubled my income. That was nice. The next year I switched real estate brokerages and I was making a higher commission split, and I sold consider about half the houses that I did my first year, but I made a little bit more money. And I was like, okay, shoot,
Mhm.
I can do this. You get comfortable and complacent. I'm like, well,
Right.
I don't have to be rich. It's good. I'm good with
Yeah.
this. It's fine. But knowing that I'm capable of doing more and just settling right here in the middle of the road, that bothers me. It
Yeah.
bothered me. Yeah, can I
Yeah.
get by on that money? Sure. It's fine.
Mhm.
It's fine. And like I said, I don't need a Lamborghini, but what could I do if I was operating at my maximum potential? How
Right.
many people could I help? How could I be
Mhm.
a blessing in other people's lives? What can I teach my son? And what kind of legacy will I be able to leave? And saying that doesn't mean that I want to make all of this money so he never has to work, because
Right.
I absolutely want him to learn how to make his way through life. Everybody has their own life experience, and you see a lot of these trust fund babies that don't know how to function as when they
Mhm.
get it, they get into their adult life and they've never had to have a job.
Right.
They don't know how to interact with people, and they don't know how to not
Yes.
get what they want every time that something happens. It's just devastating to their life if they don't get something that they want.
Yeah.
So being able to teach my son things. So from all of my life experience, and I started a podcast too, the Way Up
Yeah.
podcast.
Uh-huh.
I started that in February of this year because I was thinking about my time in the hospital. I'm like, man, I haven't taught my son all of these things of how to be successful. So I wanted to have conversations with people that have accomplished great things in their life. And I don't think that success just means making $1 million. I've had plenty of guests on the show that have built multi-million-dollar businesses, but I've also had plenty of people that have success in, maybe they're good at communicating with their spouse, or
Hmm.
they are good at teaching their children something that
Yeah.
I want to be able to do that too. Because
Yeah.
are you a parent, Robin?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Have you ever lost your crap on your children?
Yes.
Oh, I hate when it happens
Yeah.
because, I want to be a great parent. Like
Yeah.
I had wonderful parents, and I think
Hmm.
everybody does the best that they can.
Absolutely.
But I when I had my son, that was like, I want to be this guy's best dad. I want to be the
Yeah.
best for him. And
Hmm.
I know I parented out of guilt a lot whenever his mom and I separated,
Hmm.
because he didn't get to grow up in a home with mom and dad in the same household.
Yeah.
And looking back, that was just foolish.
Hmm.
God is carrying us through all of this, and
Yeah.
he's experiencing life exactly the way that it was planned.
Right. Absolutely.
It may not be what I think is ideal, but God knows better than I do.
Yes. Hmm.
And so, I growing up, or as he was growing up, he'd throw a fit and I'd end up giving in. Okay, well, here you go. You can have this.
Yeah.
And I'm paying for that a little bit at 14. He's a great kid. I'm not
Uh-huh.
saying anything bad about him, but we're having to retrain some things because of my deficiencies in parenting, because of my
Hmm.
skewed view of the situation.
Right. Yeah.
But um honestly, I feel very grateful and blessed. I wake up every morning, and before my feet hit the ground, I'm saying, God, thank you for the opportunities that you're going to put in front of me today. Thank you for the
Yeah.
people that I'm going to meet today.
Yeah.
I know that you're just setting me up for success today. Thank you. And
Uh-huh.
keeping that throughout the day. Not saying I don't ever get off track. I Real estate, you get thrown curveballs almost every day. There's something different, good or bad, but sometimes, a lot of times, things don't go the way that you plan.
Hmm.
And I have to remind myself, I'm like, this is going to work. It's going to work together for good. It's going to be
Yeah.
okay. We're going to get through this challenge that I'm going through. I'm learning a lesson, and what can I pull from this so that next time I'm in this situation, I can do this better. I can do this
Right.
different than last time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100% because I am a strong believer on, how they say history always repeats itself, but I feel that it's not supposed to. We're
It doesn't
supposed
have
to
to.
we're supposed to make those changes. And
Yeah.
that's why we have these lessons. If you keep having the same lesson over and over again, that means there's something that's not changing. There's something there that you're not doing. You have to apply the lesson learned, and then your life will start to change in the right direction. So I'm a
Absolutely.
firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I really enjoyed this. And so you definitely feel satisfied with your accomplishments now, correct?
So I don't feel like I've reached the pinnacle, which I think is the greatest thing, that we're always growing, and
Uh-huh.
you're never at the top. You're
Mhm.
never done.
Yeah.
And I think that's exciting to me,
Hmm.
because yes, I have accomplished things. And I recently, in August of this year, I started my own real estate team,
Hmm.
and we're starting a property management team, and I'm seeing some different momentum, and I'm made a lot of really great connections. So I'm just excited about where things are headed.
Hmm.
But yeah, oh, I'm excited. I'm grateful for where I am, because this is
Good.
exactly where I'm supposed to be today.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. And you said your what's the name of your podcast again?
It's called the Way Up Podcast with Geoff Knoll.
The Way Up podcast. And what do you speak about on your podcast?
Well, so I get people to come on, and I ask them what they can identify that's positioned them to be successful in their life. I
Hmm.
ask them to talk about some adversity that they've gone through, they've been able to overcome, maybe some of the things that made them feel like giving up on their journey.
Yeah.
And I have had some incredible responses. And I've learned so much that has helped me.
Yeah.
When I hear 2 or 3 people saying the same things has set them up for success. I'm like, well, you guarantee I'm trying it. I'm going to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I definitely am not so full of myself to believe that I know everything, because I don't. Obviously, and I definitely don't know what I don't know. So I want to learn from people. What's working for you? If it's working for you, how can I make it work in my life? Maybe I don't do it exactly the same way, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I have gained a lot of very valuable information that has actually changed things that I've dealt with for years. One of those things that is jumping to mind is fasting, like intermittent fasting, even some longer term fasting, 24, 48-hour fasting. And there's just so much medical research that conflicts with each other. Do this, don't do this. This is the best. This is actually terrible for you. You're ruining your hormone production. There's so much conflicting information. How can anybody, and it's all coming out from scientists and doctors, and, somebody believes it and backs it. So if it's working for somebody, chances are I'll give it a try for a while and see how I feel with it. And just really be mindful of what I'm feeling, listening to my body. Does this give me energy? Do I feel good? Do I go around feeling like I'm dissatisfied because I'm cutting something out of my life that I actually really like? I don't think that anything should just be completely blacklisted. I say that, there's trans fats and some things that we just know are bad. If it causes cancer, I'm probably not going to go that route, but the, for the most part, if you want a piece of cake occasionally, whatever, that piece of cake's not going to ruin your life. If that's the every time you get sad, you go to that, or you're leaning on it for something, it's no different than anything else. So, with moderation, and I have to reel myself in. My wife has had to reel me in a few times, because I'll get on this. I'm going to do this. Okay. Like, babe, we're going to have to go run 10 miles. And she said, you can do that. I don't have any desire to do that. Yeah. She's like, that's great for you, but that's not for me. So, and that's okay. We are all on our own journey. Everybody is experiencing life through their own lens. So, it's great. And I can even appreciate having an opposing view, because it lets me see something from your perspective instead of mine.
Yeah.
Which I haven't always been that way. I used to get real heated into political stuff, and I haven't had a president that has made me rich or made me broke. And God is my provider.
Yes.
I'm not depending on who's in the Oval Office to take care of me.
Yeah.
God is my provider.
Absolutely.
So I think we're going to be fine.
I like that. I like that a lot. I really do. And in my opinion, I believe that you are very successful. I believe success is measured by what you lose, because I feel like when God gives us the opportunity to experience empty, whether it's empty funds or you're just feeling emptiness inside, we have to go through that in order to experience plenty and realize that we are filled with plenty because of the one who lives within us. So I loved hearing your story, and I think that you are very successful.
I appreciate that. I feel blessed. I feel like I have more than I need. I can pay my bills every month.
Mhm.
And starting businesses, that's scary.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. We we got down, but it's a faith builder too, because
Mhm.
you step off the edge and you don't see that stair. You don't see the next step.
Yeah.
And you just whenever it appears
Yeah.
and you feel that underneath your foot. When we started this real estate team, we sunk everything we
Mhm.
had. We had some money put back in savings, and we were like, this is the time. We've got to do it right now if we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So we did it, and we got down to our last. We had a couple $100 in the bank, which
Mhm.
when you're in a business, that can go in a day. I mean, that
Yeah.
can go in an hour. It can go so quick. And but we were able to sustain until we got to the point where now it's starting to trickle in, and it's flowing and flowing. We've got lots of people. It's a faith building. We announced we were starting this real estate team, and we had people calling us.
Mhm.
Um, our phones are ringing off the hook of, hey, I want you to list our house. And we started doing things a little bit different so we could stand out.
Mhm.
We're marketing differently than people in our market are. And it's nothing new. We're not recreating the wheel. We're just doing things that other people aren't doing here.
Mhm.
And we're standing out because of it. And it's we've found ways to get clients to come in without having to spend tons of money on Zillow or realtor.com or the avenues that people pay for all of these lead generation that kind of you could talk to any real estate agent. It's okay at best.
Yeah.
It's not great. So um I feel like anything where I want to put my money as far as for lead production, I want to support things in my community. I
Mhm.
want to do good in my community. I want to give back,
Yeah.
and and I want to make connections that way. The leads that you get from a person saying, "Hey, I met this guy at this Chamber of Commerce function, and he just seems so authentic and real, and he cares about people." And I saw the video of the way they're presenting these listings, and holy crap, it's insane.
Yeah.
These guys are awesome. You need to talk to them.
Yeah.
That is worth its weight in gold, rather
Mhm.
than somebody saying, "Oh, I saw you were looking at properties on the internet. Can I
Yeah.
help you?" And they're getting calls from four or
Right.
five other agents at the same time. Who are you going to pick? The person that your friend told you is probably a good route.
Uh,
That's a more solid choice. So that's what I want to do.
mhm.
And it's
I like
working.
that.
And it's
Yeah.
working. As long as it's working, I'm going to keep doing it.
And what's the name of your real estate company?
The real estate company, I'm under the EXP Realty brokerage, which is the fastest growing real estate brokerage in the worldwide.
Mhm.
But my real estate team is called the Noble Team.
Okay.
And we
And
really
how
capitalize on no bull. We got your back, and that's no bull. So
and
we don't take ourselves too seriously. We like to have some fun,
yeah.
but um, it's a good time. When I got into real estate, I had this image of what I thought that a successful real estate agent looked like. So I was
Mhm.
dressing different than I do, and I was trying to speak differently than I do, and you know, it wasn't working. It
Yeah.
just wasn't working, and I wasn't super satisfied. And the more I get away from the image of what I think that I should be and just lean into who I am and
Mhm.
who I want to become, I find that I enjoy myself way more, but I'm received by people a whole lot better whenever I
Mhm.
just let my guard down and I am who I am. I
Yeah.
can't I can't be anything more than that. I don't want to be anything different than that because it's not fun. It's hard trying to be something you're not.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And God created each and every one of us unique and different on purpose.
Mhm.
And it's great that I am who I am. I think
Yeah.
it's fantastic. So
Yeah.
if you don't like it, I guess that sucks for you.
Right. Exactly. I agree with that
Yeah.
100%. But thank you so much, Geoff. You've added a lot to this episode, and I greatly, greatly appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
And if there was any advice that you would want to just give our listeners, anything, what would it be?
Any advice I could give your listeners? Well, I would say never stop trying to be the best of what you are. And that doesn't mean that you have to be a millionaire. Mm-hmm. Just always push a little bit harder and know that you're not at the top of the game. You can do more. There's always somebody that's going to be better, but don't let that keep you from trying and putting an effort to become more.
I like that. And how can all of our listeners get a hold of you?
Well, I would absolutely love it if they would check out the Way Up podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on Apple, Spotify, really anywhere you get your podcast, you can find it. You can find our real estate team, the Noble Team, eXp Realty. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We hit the social medias pretty hard. We do have a website. We're working on being able to update that a little bit more. Need to get some help in the website design area, but we have it. It's thenobleteam.com. But yeah, I would love to have people reach out. They can email me at thewayuppodcast, Geoff Knoll, and that's GeoffKnoll @gmail.com. So thewayuppodcast, Geoff Knoll @gmail.com.
Okay. And that'll also be in the show notes as well. So
okay.
If that is all, thank you again so much. Again, I'm Robin Black with It's All About Healing podcast, and everyone stay blessed.
All right. Thank you, Robin.
No problem. Again, I'm your host, Robin Black, and this is It's All About Healing podcast. If you're navigating grief, toxic relationships, trauma, financial pressure, or the slow work of rebuilding after setback piled upon setback, this channel is for you. Our community now spans 118 countries, proof that real stories travel and that healing accelerates when we carry one another. Share your story, lend your voice, and let grace turn pain into purpose. Book your podcast in the link below and share your story. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good evening, and good night. Stay blessed.